Bryan Johnson spends $2 million a year on his body. He consumes over 100 supplements daily, eats identical meals at the exact same times, undergoes invasive testing of every bodily fluid, and receives blood plasma from his own son. This isn't science fiction. It's the daily routine of a tech billionaire who sold his company to PayPal for $800 million and rebranded himself as a longevity guru. Johnson, the 47-year-old founder of the Blueprint Protocol, claims he's reduced his biological age by more than 30 years through his extreme regimen of supplements, diet, and medical interventions. His slogan? Don't die. His promise? That you too can reverse aging if you follow his method, and conveniently purchase his Blueprint supplements at $333 per month. Johnson's background and rise. Long before he became the poster child for extreme longevity, Bryan Johnson was a Mormon missionary in Ecuador. Born in 1977 in Provo, Utah, Johnson was raised in a traditional Mormon family, where structure, discipline, and religious dedication formed the foundation of his worldview. At 19, like many young Mormon men, he embarked on a 2-year mission to Ecuador, where he witnessed extreme poverty, an experience that would later influence his perspective on wealth and purpose. Upon returning to the United States, Johnson pursued degrees at Brigham Young University before venturing into entrepreneurship. After several failed attempts, he found success with Braintree, an online payment processing company that would eventually acquire Venmo. In 2013, PayPal purchased Braintree for $800 million, netting Johnson personally between $300 to $400 million, transforming him from a struggling entrepreneur to a centimillionaire overnight. But wealth didn't bring fulfillment. By his own admission, Johnson fell into depression after the sale. "I had achieved the pinnacle of success that I had dreamed about my entire life," he recounted in interviews, "and I was unhappy, overweight, and essentially marching toward an early death." This personal crisis became the catalyst for his pivot to longevity research. In 2021, Johnson launched Project Blueprint, investing over $4 million to assemble a team of 30 doctors to design his anti-aging protocol. He positioned himself as his own guinea pig, undergoing hundreds of medical tests and interventions in what he described as a war with death. The tech and business media quickly took notice, with Bloomberg publishing an article titled, "How to Be 18 Years Old Again for Only $2 million a Year," that catapulted Johnson to mainstream attention. But what you're about to discover about the true cost of this regimen, both financially and physically, may shock you. Inside the Blueprint Protocol. The Blueprint Protocol isn't merely a diet or exercise program. It's a comprehensive lifestyle overhaul that dictates virtually every aspect of daily existence. Johnson's regimen begins at 5 a.m. with 54 supplements taken throughout the day, carefully timed and documented. His diet consists of a strict plant-based meal plan, precisely measured super veggies with nuts for breakfast, a nutty pudding meal before noon, and nothing after that, all totaling exactly 1,977 calories daily. Exercise isn't optional. It's mandatory and meticulously tracked. Johnson completes at least 65 minutes of exercise daily, including high-intensity interval training, strength training, and consistent movement monitoring. Sleep is equally regimented, with sensors tracking every movement, breathing pattern, and heart rate variation throughout the night. Alcohol, processed sugar, and most social eating situations are categorically forbidden. The protocol extends far beyond lifestyle changes into the realm of experimental medicine. The price tag for this regimen? Approximately $2 million annually, a figure that would be impossible for all but the wealthiest individuals to sustain. Yet Johnson has commercialized a consumer version through his Blueprint product line, selling supplement stacks at $333 per month, plant-based meal mixes, and olive oil, all marketed as essential components of the longevity lifestyle. At his Don't Die Summits, which cost attendees between $249 for general admission and $1,799 for VIP access, Johnson cultivates an atmosphere that many describe as eerily similar to religious revival meetings. The day begins with mandatory morning raves, where attendees dance awkwardly to electronic music, as Johnson, described by one observer as moving with the frenetic precision of a teenager trying to win Dance Dance Revolution, leads from the front. As strange as these extreme measures might seem, it's what Johnson's followers are calling him that's truly disturbing: scientific scrutiny. Despite Johnson's claims of scientific rigor, the medical community has raised significant concerns about his methodology, conclusions, and public messaging. Dr. Morgan Levine, a pioneering researcher who developed some of the epigenetic clocks Johnson uses to measure biological age, has publicly disputed his central claim of reducing his pace of aging by the equivalent of 31 years. This calculation appears unsubstantiated and overhyped, Dr. Levine stated. While acknowledging Johnson has reduced his epigenetic age, she emphasized the impossibility of proving the dramatic 31-year figure he promotes. This pattern, taking legitimate scientific concepts but extrapolating beyond what evidence supports, appears consistently throughout the blueprint approach. The fundamental scientific problem with Johnson's protocol is that it represents, at best, a single case study, the lowest level of scientific evidence. With dozens of simultaneous interventions, it's impossible to determine which elements actually contribute to any observed improvements. As one scientific analysis noted, there is no way to guarantee that Bryan's positive results are truly the result of the numerous interventions he implemented, or, if they are, which specific ones were responsible. Perhaps most revealing are the interventions Johnson has quietly abandoned after they proved ineffective or potentially harmful. The plasma exchange therapy with his son, once a centerpiece of his protocol and heavily featured in media coverage, was discontinued after Johnson admitted seeing no benefits after 6 sessions. Similarly, he stopped using growth hormone after experiencing side effects, including increased intracranial pressure, headaches, and elevated blood glucose. Johnson's Blueprint website claims the protocol is based on scientific evidence, yet many of its recommendations exceed what published research supports. Psychological manipulation. Bryan Johnson doesn't just sell supplements and diet plans, he's selling salvation. The psychological framework of Blueprint leverages powerful emotional triggers that bear striking similarities to religious conversion and cult recruitment tactics. Johnson himself makes this connection explicit, having stated, "I am building a religion," and noting that religious organizations are the most stable and strongest organizations in the entire world. Fear forms the foundation of his approach. In Blueprint messaging, normal behaviors like eating dessert or staying up late aren't merely unhealthy choices. They're framed as acts of violence against your body. This extreme characterization creates a binary worldview. Either you're fighting death by following the protocol, or you're complicit in your own demise. Johnson's instructions to summit attendees capture this mentality perfectly. Rage against the dying of the light, and join the war with death and its causes. The Don't Die community reinforces this us versus them mentality. Members receive citizenship and passports, creating a sense of belonging and special status. The app tracks adherence to the protocol through a Don't Die score, introducing competition and social pressure. What Johnson's Blueprint truly sells isn't health, but identity, purpose, and the illusion of control in an uncertain world. Like the religious structures Johnson explicitly models his movement after, the Don't Die community offers belonging, meaning, and the comfort of clear rules in a complex world. The ultimate irony of the Blueprint protocol may be that while Johnson claims to be reversing aging, the evidence suggests what's growing most rapidly isn't his cellular health, but his wealth and influence, all harvested from our most fundamental fear, death itself. If you enjoyed the video, give us a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more.